Hi everyone, my name is Xiangzi Li. I'm a PhD student at UT Dallas. I'm presenting CORWA, a citation-oriented related work annotation dataset today. Our ultimate goal is to automatically generate related work sections given the rest of the paper and a list of reference papers. However, the task of automatic related work generation is challenging and not standardized yet. Previous works simply regard related work generation as a variation of multi-document summarization task and mainly tackle the problem from model development side. As a result, their released datasets are the byproduct of their research on modeling. Moreover, previous tasks all generated related work sentence by sentence or paragraph by paragraph, which neglects the natural structure of the related work sections that consists of multiple variable length of citation and other supporting sentences. In this work, we collect a CORWA dataset, which is a dataset designed for related work generation. CORWA consists of 3 interrelated tasks: discourse tagging, citation type recognition, and citation span detection. We aim to extract the citation sentences and distinguish different types of citations. We present a strong transformer-based baseline tagger to jointly perform 3 tasks of CORWA. Using this tagger, we can easily generate massive training data for related work generation from unlabeled texts. Furthermore, we demonstrate the significance of the CORWA dataset with analysis from multiple aspects. We also propose CORWA's example usages. The first usage is using it as a pre-training task of the language model for related work generation. We further use CORWA to propose a citation span generation task for related work generation, as opposed to previous sentence or paragraph level generation. Finally, we suggest CORWA can be used to condition the writing style of the generated text to either generate in summarization style or narrative style. Next, let me quickly walk you through the results of our work. Feel free to interrupt me if you have any question. So here is the CORWA annotation scheme. For each sentence, we assign a discourse label. And we first aim to distinguish different types of citations. We distinguish summarization style sentences and summarization sentences that describe prior works in detail and narrative style sentences that mention each prior work in high level. We also distinguish whether a single document or multiple documents are cited. Another important point about discourse tagging is that we distinguish citation sentences and non-citation sentences. Citation sentences information mainly comes from the cited documents, while the non-citation sentences information is originated from the author of the current work. We believe this is important for the related work generation task. For each citation signature, like these kind of signature seen at all 2020, we distinguish whether the author cites a work for really talking about it, which we call it dominant type citation, or simply cite it for reference. Usually, summarization sentences contain a dominant citation, and narrative sentences only contain reference type sentences. We also annotate the influence, the span of each cited work. This span can be as short as a few words or as long as a few sentences for dominant type citations. Here is an artificial example of the BRAT annotation interface that illustrates the label sets of CORWA. The first general topic sentence has no citation, and then a narrative sentence cites a few reference type citations with short spans. After the third sentence, which is another transition sentence, sentence 4 and 5 mostly entirely describe the prior work in detail. And finally, a reflection sentence ties the related work back to the current work. We visualize some characteristics of the CORWA. This histogram shows the big difference between the length of dominant and reference type citations. This parallel plot shows that all three types of paragraph exist. There are summarization only sentences in the paragraph, or narrative sentences only in the paragraph, or the mixture of these two types. The joint distribution in this table is the joint distribution of the discourse tag types, and the citation span types in this table shows that the most frequent patterns are single document summarization coupled with dominant type citations, multi-document summarization type tags coupled with dominant type citations, and the reference type citation span coupled with narrative site citation, narrative site sentence. So these results are generally consistent with the our annotation scheme. Next, this figure is the model architecture of our joint tagger for CORWA. We use multitask learning to train a single language model on 3 tasks of CORWA. Our tagger can achieve a very high performance so that it can become a very reliable tool for generating related work generation datasets. Finally, we did some analysis. The first figure shows that using citation span is a better alternative than using citation sentences for retrieving the most relevant sentences in the cited paper. Next, we use the rule-based algorithms to identify some frequent discourse label subsequences. Each of these patterns has their reasonable functionalities. I will stop here and let you go through the poster. Feel free to ask me any question, and I'm happy to explain each of the part in detail. Thank you.